The following is an account of one of my trips on Salvia divinorum using the denatured alcohol extract. For my extract I used only 20 leaves initially due to the fact that the leaves I was using were, reportedly, very potent. Just recently I decided to try some out to see its effects in comparison to smoking plain dried leaves. I had found that smoking the whole leaves was powerful, but it came on too suddenly, so it always seemed impossible for me to smoke anymore once it hit me. I always ended up confused, or sometimes I would laugh hysterically. I wanted to see what was beyond the state I had found smoking the whole leaves. That led me to the extract. In a dark room I packed up a 1.5 feet bong with the extract and a piece of a whole leaf to keep it from pulling through. I proceeded, torching the bowl to make sure as much of the extract was lit as possible. I held the hit in a very long time before blowing it out. At that point I already felt the plant coming to me. But it kept getting more and more intense. So much so that I struggled to finish the bowl on the next hit. I could faintly see the dim room begin to spin, side to side, tilting. I laid down staring up at the dark ceiling. At this point I can only give an estimate of what came about, as I was in a completely different state of consciousness. All that I remember at this point was being very confused. I was mystified at the whole idea of being a human being. I felt as though I wasn't one anymore. Nothing about us made sense, not even the voices I was hearing. But in a weird sense they did. But on a very primordial level. They seemed to be very confused as to what was going on, and it was reflected in the number of questions that were being asked. I don't know what they were asking, but I knew they were questions because of the tone in their voices. I almost think that it was me asking all the questions. It was like everything in my head had become a separate entity, and the plant and my body were listening. I don't know where all this was taking place, although it seemed somewhat internalized. Almost as if my spinning vision traversed into something else. A wormhole of the mind. Then, after some time had elapsed, I remember seeing the movement of my friend in front of me. His shadowy figure moved about, almost in a manner that replicated a video being played forwards, and forwards more, and backwards less, and so on. Along with it, his voice was being distorted. I could make out the phrase, "Stand up, you'll feel better." So I did. I was slowly coming to grips with the fact that I was human, but it was more like I had decided to play the role of one, and that I was acting. My vision was still unstable, but it came back very quickly, and with it so did my ego, so to speak. I then became who I was, capable of contemplating and understanding my human reality. The trip pretty much ended there. I estimate that it had been 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm not positive. Interesting note. Apparently, my friend never said anything to the likes of what I heard. He said something about how it felt good to stand in front of the open window. He had tripped on salvia minutes before I had, and was sweating as a result.